This is the new facelifted Jeep Wrangler, but being a Wrangler, well, it looks pretty familiar. So later on, I will stop and take you all around what's new, but for now, let's begin with this. Yes, the Wrangler is as hardcore an off-roader as they come. So let's look at all the crazy capabilities this machine has, and beginning with water weighting capacity. 864 mm is what the new updated Wrangler has. That's about 100 mm more than the previous version. So that will come in really handy because what we have in front of us is a river. Yes, a river, a natural river, not some dug up trench with uniform water level. There's varying water level. There's a strong current going across. There's a rocky bed as well. So yeah, the water weighting capacity as well as the 4 low will come really to the test. So yeah, let's get going. Remember, when going through water, keep a good pace to build up a bow wave in front of the car. And if the surface is rocky, keep the pace lower but still steady. Also, seatbelts unbuckled. Yes, because in case you get stuck or the car sinks or drifts away, you can get out immediately. So this is the one time you are allowed to unbuckle your seatbelts. Okay. We are forming a nice bow wave now in front. And fighting the current a bit. Turn towards our exits. Yes, we seem to have docked safely. Thanks to our instructor here as well. The other Wrangler party trick is sway bar or anti-roll bar disconnect. So the anti-roll bar, which you do need to stabilize the body, especially on road, also tends to limit the movement of the axle. With it disconnected, you'll see there is going to be a crazy amount of wheel movement and articulation. With the anti-roll bar disconnected, the front wheels can now dip or rise a whole lot more, making sure you've got good traction with the surface. Oh, and for the record, ground clearance stands at 237 mm on the Rubicon and 223 mm on the Unlimited version. It's phenomenal how easy this thing is. It's really making child's play of these obstacles. Of course, the Wrangler also boasts of some incredible gradability, and we took it down a steep slope with a maximum incline of 36 degrees showing up on our screen. And it managed this in a very sure-footed manner. Helping a lot here, of course, were the 17-inch mud terrain tires that the Rubicon version comes with. The Rubicon also has Jeep's Rock Track 4x4 system with a 4:1 crawl ratio, front and rear lockable differentials, and of course the anti-roll bar disconnect. Right, so this is the 2024 Wrangler, and as promised, let me take you around, point out all of the changes, because you're not going to be able to tell, or you'll have to be a really keen Jeep and specifically a Wrangler fan. So the grille area is now larger and blacked out. That's a visual cue to the new Wrangler. And you'll also notice a camera in there, which is handy off-road and also complements the ADAS suite, which is new with the Wrangler. The other change is a missing antenna. Yes, Jeep customers complained that it would get snagged on branches when going off-road, so it's now printed on the Gorilla Glass windscreen. Yes, the same as your phone. So Jeep says it's very resistant to scratches. The rest of the front remains the same. You have the big chunky bumper, the flared wheel arches, and the clamped down domed bonnet. At the side, things are the same too, but you do get new body colors and new alloys, which on the Rubicon are shored with 17-inch mud terrain tires, while the Unlimited gets 18-inch highway terrain tires instead. Okay, now at the rear, things are the same as the previous car. So you have your, of course, your tailgate mounted spare, chunky tail lights, split tailgate, and if you come in closer, I want to show you something that's new on the 2024 Wrangler, and that's the upgraded sound system. A technical change at the rear, however, is a standard full floating Dana rear axle, which enables a higher 2,267 kilo tow rating. That's not something we'll see used a lot here, but yeah, it's good to know. Since I do have the tailgate open, take a look at this here, this little badge, something really cool. Designed in USA, manufactured in India. Yes, India is the only country outside of the US where Jeep says they make, in fact, 4 models, including this, the iconic Wrangler. Inside, the big change is a new 12.3-inch landscape-oriented touchscreen, which is very neatly integrated into the dashboard design, and it's clear and easy to read. The seats are now powered, and Jeep says the motors and switches are all waterproof, so you can happily get water into the cabin. Also new is standard 6 airbags. The rest remains the same, so it's got the basics like a dual-zone climate control, powered mirrors, and steering controls, which now also include ADAS functions. The space remains the same, and that means it's more than sufficient at the front and rear too, with very good headroom, though the speaker enclosure integrated with the roll cage does feel too close. Onto the highway now, and while this isn't the Wrangler's natural terrain, it will spend a lot of time out here. Now on the move on the highway and on open roads, you can hear a lot of the outside inside the cabin. As you know, this is a removable hardtop, so you've got very little insulation, little to none, in fact, up on the roof there. And the Rubicon's mud terrain tires are very audible too. In some ways, the mechanical sounds are enjoyable because you can hear the revs and the intake of the turbo. But if you want a silent and refined ride, the Wrangler isn't what you should be looking at. Interestingly, Jeep says it's quieter by 5 decibels, but you'd probably only notice that measuring back to back. The powertrain carries on as before, so what you have under the hood is a 2-liter direct injection turbocharged petrol. It makes 270 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. What does that feel like? Well, it's pretty responsive. Put your foot down like this and it shifts. There is that pause, of course, from the 8-speed auto box, but on a vehicle like this, frankly, which is built more for the off-road rather than on-road, I'm pretty happy with the responsiveness. As also with the steering, which despite being set up to minimize kickback and be light enough off-road, it still has some small levels of feedback and feel in it. The ride, of course, is simply fantastic. We didn't get much time with it on-road, but boy, it really shines through. It basically can take a pounding, or rather sometimes it feels like the suspension is giving the road a pounding. Speaking of which, the new Wrangler will be on our roads soon, and like before, will arrive in both Unlimited and Rubicon versions. By the time you see this, prices will be out too, so we'll pin it in the comments. Expect a small premium over the current 62 to 66 lakh price range. So does it deserve your attention? For sure. Of course, like the earlier Wrangler, it isn't for everyone. It's not adept on the highway and not well equipped with creature comforts, especially when you consider other SUVs at this price point. But with the facelift, Jeep has made some meaningful incremental improvements. The infotainment system is up to standards. There's powered front seats. Safety has been improved with 6 standard airbags and ADAS. It's a wee bit quieter on road, so on the whole, it's easier to live with every day. And then it's gotten better off-road too. There's better water wading capabilities. There's an off-road camera with its own washer and a tougher windshield too. So now off-road, it's simply brilliant. So if you're looking for a luxury off-roader, this one should rank very high, if not at the very top of your list.